If you look at a map, you will find a country called Guinea in West Africa. Right next to it is Guinea-Bissau. Down the coast is Equatorial Guinea. Halfway across the world in the Pacific Ocean is Papua New Guinea. And sitting in a cage in your cousin's bedroom, eating a baby carrot, is a guinea pig. How did one random word infect the entire planet? This is the story of the greatest geographic train wreck in human history, a 500-year-long game of linguistic telephone that connects European colonial history, South American rodents, and Pacific Island geography. Let's start where it actually makes sense, Africa. Long before borders were drawn on maps by European empires, the western coast of Africa was a massive, diverse region. When Portuguese explorers began sailing down this coast in the 15th century, they needed a name for the area. They picked up a word from the local Berber languages, likely Agenor, which essentially just meant black people. The Portuguese warped this into Guine. Suddenly, a massive stretch of the African continent was slapped with the label Guinea. Fast forward a few centuries, and European powers began slicing up the continent like a pie. The French took a piece and called it French Guinea. The Portuguese took a piece and called it Portuguese Guinea. The Spanish took a piece and called it Spanish Guinea. When these nations finally gained independence, they kept the names but dropped the empires. French Guinea became simply Guinea. Portuguese Guinea became Guinea-Bissau, to avoid confusion. And Spanish Guinea became Equatorial Guinea, because, well, it's near the equator. So far, geography checks out. 3 countries in West Africa sharing a historical regional name. Sane. Logical. Grounded in reality. But then, Europe got rich, and things got weird. In the 1600s, the British Empire started minting a shiny new gold coin. Because the gold for these coins was heavily mined from the West African Guinea region, the British, in a rare moment of descriptive naming, called the coin a guinea. For hundreds of years, the guinea was the cornerstone of British currency. It was the coin of gentlemen, used to buy art, land, and exotic goods. Keep that coin in your pocket. We are going to need it in a minute. Because now, we have to talk about the animals. First, the guinea fowl. If you've never seen one, it looks like a chicken that dressed up as a polka-dotted football. This bird actually deserves its name. It was imported to European farms from West Africa. It is a genuine, certified guinea bird. But then we have the star of the show. The great imposter. The guinea pig. The guinea pig is a lie wrapped in fur. First of all, to state the obvious, it is not a pig. It is a cavy, a species of rodent. Second, and more importantly, it has never been to Guinea. It isn't from Africa at all. The guinea pig originates from the Andes Mountains in South America. So how on earth did a squeaking South American potato get named after a West African coastline? Remember that British gold coin? When sailors brought these adorable little rodents back from South America to Europe, they were an instant hit. Exotic pets were all the rage. The going rate for one of these fluffy little guys? 1 guinea coin. You literally bought your pig with a guinea. There are other theories, too. Some historians think the ships bringing them back were part of the triangle trade, making stops in West Africa, which led confused Europeans to assume the animals boarded there. Other historians think Europeans just looked at the South American rodent, looked at the African guinea fowl, and somehow got the two confused. Whatever the exact reason, the name stuck. And centuries later, this South American rodent is suffering a permanent identity crisis. But the Guinification of the planet wasn't done yet. Not even close. Let's leave the Atlantic entirely and travel halfway across the world, thousands of miles away from West Africa, to a massive island in the Pacific Ocean. The year is 1545. A Spanish explorer named Inigo Ortiz de Retes lands his ship on this island. He steps off, looks at the lush tropical environment, and takes a look at the indigenous Melanesian people who have lived there for tens of thousands of years. He squints. He tilts his head. And he thinks to himself, you know what? The people here kind of look like the people back on that West African coast. And with the breathtaking laziness that only a 16th century colonial explorer could muster, he names this entirely new, wildly distinct landmass New Guinea. New Guinea. Today, the eastern half of that island is the fully independent nation of Papua New Guinea. A Pacific island, named by a Spanish guy who thought it looked like an African coastline, which was named by the Portuguese, who misunderstood a Berber word. And that is how we end up with the ultimate geographic glitch.